Listen to the 48 Hours podcast for shocking murder cases and compelling real-life dramas from one of television's most watched true crime shows. Go behind the scenes of each episode with award-winning CBS News correspondents and producers in Postmortem, a weekly deep dive. Listen to 48 Hours wherever you get your podcasts.
TIAA is on a mission. Why? Because 54% of Black Americans don't have enough savings to retire. So in collaboration with big-name artists like Wyclef Jean, TIAA released Paper Right, new music inspiring a new financial future. With 100% of streaming sales going to a nonprofit that teaches students how to invest. Stream Paper Right now and help close the gap.
Hello, and thank you for tuning into KNOW Waco. I am your host, Debbie, here to help you get in the know about Waco.
This week, I'm going to be talking about some small businesses here in Waco, and I have some special guests in the studio. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, hello. My name is Matthews-Hessel, and I am with Gentle Transitions Hospice. I'm one of the co-owners there. My mom and I started Gentle Transitions Hospice together about 4 years ago. And so it's been quite a journey from that point to where we're at today.
Yeah. And you have your beautiful wife here in the studio.
Yes.
Hi.
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name's Tara Matthews-Hessel. Me and Evan are recently married. We got, thank you. Yeah, we got married last year in the Grand Canyon during the pandemic. So that was
great.
Yeah, it was fun. And we, it was not a lot of crowds.
Yeah, it was a great excuse to not have to have a gigantic wedding.
Yes, it was an amazing excuse not to have to invite, hundreds of people and pay for their food and drinks at our wedding, so it was really nice. But like I said, my name's Tara Matthews-Hessel. I am a small business owner here in Waco. I've started a little company called Interstellar Apothecary, and I just specialize in really cute and whimsical candles, and I kind of dabble in smelting bismuth crystals as well. It's just, the business gives me an opportunity to bring out the fun side of things, to be more creative, and really, too, getting to interact with the community, because I'm doing a lot of pop-up markets and local events, and it's really been so much fun. I started the business about 4 months ago, and it's going really great so far.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Thank you.
And what brought you to Waco? Or are you guys Waco natives?
I am actually from Houston, Texas.
Woo, H-Town represent.
H-Town. But I went to Baylor. So I actually met my husband at Baylor years ago.
Sick 'em Bears.
Let's not age ourselves. Yeah, Sick 'em Bears.
What year did you graduate?
I'm not going to age myself here. But yeah, so I went to Baylor, and so I met my husband, and, we were together for quite a long time, and it ended up that he and his mom started a hospice staffing agency while we were living in Dallas. And so they wanted to bring the company down here to Waco. And I was like, oh, no, we're going back to, just because we were starting to really get our foots on the ground and get into the mix of living in Dallas.
Well, it's really exciting, though, that the Waco that we moved back to 9 years ago, is a whole
completely
different Waco that we see today. So, I think that's sort of part of the reason why we've stuck around, is that, we really see a lot of potential in this town. By the way, to answer the other question, I'm actually am a Waco native, so I grew up around this area, been around this area my whole life.
So you really have seen the complete change.
Yes.
So you moved away for a few years and then came back?
On and off. And that's a lot of people's story that I've grown up with here. A lot of
creatives, they're always like, I had to leave Waco. I was gone for a couple years, but I came back.
But then he came
and
back.
Now I'm stuck here.
Yeah. Well, and it used to, I think a lot of people used to say, I'm stuck here. And in the last couple of years, I'm hearing that a lot less. Like I'm hearing a lot more excitement about the possibilities, and I'm seeing a lot of a lot of attention being shown to Waco from people from Dallas's and Austin's and other big cities, and you know, it's just really exciting, and I'm glad to be a part of that. I mean, having had grown up around here, you know, seeing the kind of growth we're seeing is, I don't know, it's almost unfathomable. And so to be able to be like, oh, this is a small town, pardon this phrase, I guess, but you know, Waco used to be kind of considered podunk, you know? And so I never, when I was a younger person, envisioned like, oh, I want to start a business in Central Texas and grow it and be a part of something like in this area. But, you know, so it's the complete opposite now. Like, I'm really pretty excited to be able to be a part of the growth of this community, and starting a business during this time is just so exciting. I mean,
And
sorry,
you said you've been doing yours for about 4 months now.
Yes.
So how have you witnessed this local growth and impacting your own small business?
Well, I have to say, just the city of Waco and surrounding communities have been extremely supportive of my business. I think a lot of people know me because I've, you know, for the past 15 years, I've worked in medical sales. So I worked for different nursing homes, doing marketing and home health care agencies. And I've worked with the hospice a little bit.
yeah, she was a big part of helping get the hospice off the ground. It's funny too, because I tell people this story a lot, that when she came to me and was like, you know, I'm not really wanting to do like medical sales anymore. I'd like to get out of that, and I'd like to start making candles. I was a little nervous. I was like, whoa. But when I saw like the products, it's not an average candle, you know, and these crystals she's making and stuff, it's just not average. So I quickly got behind the idea, and I'm excited about it now.
Yeah, and I mean, what I will say is, when I started this sort of out of, you know, kind of during when the pandemic was going on, everybody was kind of locked down. Everybody had, you know, what we're calling
crafting.
Yeah, it was Corona crafting. I mean, because I'd had this massive garden. I mean, I was growing like corn and okra, and tomatoes, and everything you could grow, I was growing. And then I was like, okay, well, there's not really much more I can do with this, you know. So I was like, what else can I do? And so it was a good time to, you know, thank God we had the luxury to be able to work from home, and you know, we were able to, you know, make an income from home safely, which, you know, a lot of people did not have that opportunity.
Yeah, very fortunate last year.
Yeah, we're very fortunate. And so, I had that extra time, and, you know, guess I was doing what most Wacoans probably do when they were stuck at home, was going through YouTube, watching all kinds of crazy things.
TikTok.
Oh my gosh, watching TikTok like crazy. But yeah, I don't know what happened. I think I've always loved candles.
Super passionate about candles.
I am very passionate. I am. You
We're
know,
saving. I mean, even though she's not making just like a fortune, we're making a fortune by the amount of money we're not spending.
Candles.
By not buying candles, by making your own.
By making my own. Seriously, I'm like, Evan, I'm saving us money.
Yeah.
Every business is a
Definitely.
money-saving opportunity here.
I love that.
Yeah, but it's, you know, the cool thing about this business is, you know, like I said, because I worked in such a, you know, in the medical field, it's such a serious industry. It's so, you know, you're really, you have people's lives in your hands.
Yeah.
Like, it's very serious. And I still love doing that work. I love, you know, educating people about their different healthcare options, talking about my family's hospice. I mean, I love doing that. But this gives me just like such a great creative outlet to just be myself and be fun. And like, if you see my products, my candles, my crystals, there's just something really just whimsical and exciting about them. It's just everything. This is stuff that I would have done when I was a kid. You know, like even my, you know, I make cereal bowl candles.
I love them.
Yeah, and it's like they
It
remind
does take
you
you
of.
back. It takes you
It
back.
takes you back of
You
watching.
like smell it, and it's just like you remember just sitting on the couch watching Saturday morning cartoons.
Watching
Yes.
cartoons, watching the Looney Tunes, and you know, fighting with your siblings and stuff. And it's just, I love that. Like, these products to me just make me happy, and I really feel like they make my customers happy, the community happy. It's really fun, and also being able to be a part of different markets, especially here when I've come in to do the Rogue pop-up night markets and Saturday morning markets. Like, it's just so fun, you know, especially coming out of the pandemic and all. What, I guess we're still in the pandemic, but kind of opening up again.
Yeah.
It's fun to be able to interact with people, because you don't realize how much of that interaction you were missing, you know? So I love it. And I feel like everyone's been so receptive. I sell mostly online. So I've shipped, just in the past 4 months, I've shipped orders all over the world.
And I heard you just got a huge order. Do you want to talk about that?
I did. Yes, this is so exciting. So I do have my online store. It's interstellarapothecary.com. And it's an Etsy-based shop. So I get a lot of customers through there. And one of my customers sent me an email or sent me a message on Etsy and said, you know, I'm a huge fan of your candles, and you know, I own 3 retail locations in Tennessee. It's a company called the Masonry Design Company. They have a location in Chattanooga, Tennessee, Dunlap, Tennessee, and Dayton, Tennessee. And they're going to be carrying my candles now.
Wow.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you so much. So, and I mean, I've had love from everyone. I'm working with another retailer in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Oh, wow.
Who, yeah, she's been placing very large orders with me. So we're in Little Rock, Arkansas, y'all. And we're just, you know, it's so exciting. Every time I ship out a package to Switzerland or Canada or Germany, it's just so exciting. It's just like a little piece of Waco, Texas is traveling the world, and it's super exciting.
It is funny. It's like the complete opposite of, you know, my company and my business and our focus, but it is interesting the way we both help each other's companies out. I mean, being a husband and wife entrepreneurs with 2 different companies that are so completely different, it's pretty crazy because I mean, our passion, me and my mom with Gentle Transitions, is to focus locally only and not expand out across the world, while right next door, my wife has a business that's shipping around the whole entire world. Like, it's crazy.
And what is it like being in the industry that you're in here in Waco?
You know, Waco is in a way, like in a sense, kind of a medical hub. I mean,
I was going to say,
for within, you know, we office in the big city of Moody, Texas,
Woo.
and and so we serve a 60-mile radius of that, so it encompasses Temple, Killeen, Belton, and Waco. And I mean, for the density of our population, to have so many like major hospitals and so many, you know, nursing homes and assisted livings and things, it's quite a medical hub here, you know. So we like we were talking about earlier with the pandemic, to be able to get through last year and actually grow even during that pandemic was really amazing. And that not only are we growing here in Waco as far as retail and grocery and all the fun things, but there's even more. I mean, there's more medical companies coming into town every day and stuff. And I mean, something else we both talked about, kind of wanted to bring up while we were on today, though, is that we both really wholeheartedly believe in trying to support local companies, being that we are local businesses, and how
it's so important,
how big of an impact that using local companies can really have for the community. And we just did a spot on the news the other day and brought this up. That,
oh, that's cool.
You know, when the pandemic first hit, everyone was like, let's support local. Here's a list of all the local restaurants. And so that's great. I love it. I love people supporting local restaurants here. But can you imagine the impact of like going and buying a local hamburger, how much impact that has on Waco versus when you go and you use like a gigantic corporation for your healthcare, instead of, you know, looking into and possibly using like a local healthcare company, you're talking like millions and millions and millions of dollars that just flows out of Central Texas. Yeah. You know, I mean, so it's just something I'm trying to kind of point out, you know, as much as I can, that, you know, using local healthcare can really, really have a major impact on helping Central Texas grow. You know, there are local home health, there's local physicians that aren't part of major companies, there's, you know, local hospices. Haha, you hear? So,
shout out.
So yeah.
Well, how do you think that's adapted since the pandemic, especially with, you know, being regionally based here and providing services to people here?
It's been a little tougher for me, you know, even though we were able to grow, it's been a little bit tougher for our company to sort of get the word out. I'm glad and I'm excited that you guys have invited us on and things like that, because we are having to kind of sort of think outside the box a little more these days, because, you know, everyone in healthcare right now is struggling a little bit because there's the fear of going into hospitals right now. There's the fear of being at nursing homes right now and stuff like that. So really across the board right now, you know, even doctors' offices, people are visiting their physicians less during this. So everybody's, you know, kind of struggling with their bottom line at the moment. Yeah. But we're making it through.
Well, speaking of those outside of the box ideas, you're gonna say about the event you guys are having coming up soon?
Yeah, we're still trying to pin down a date for it, but it's funny. My mom always tells people, we don't need to be a big giant corporation ever. Our goal isn't to be the only thing I want, and I've already got it. Is the only thing I wanted in life was a Corvette. So
It's so true.
So she's got herself a little Corvette, and she's a member.
If you've ever seen her, so his mom, Gwen Dalton, she's a hospice nurse for 25 plus years. She's a character. If any of you guys know her, but yeah, have you ever seen like a crazy blonde lady driving down Valley Mills with the top down in her Corvette, and she's jamming like some 70s rock?
That's her.
That's her. That's my mother-in-law.
Yeah. So, well, she's a member of the Corvette Club here in Central Texas, and we're trying to pin down a date at Royal Manor in Hewitt to do like a Corvette cruise for their residents. So I think that'd be a lot of fun.
So grannies and Corvettes.
Yes, I think it'll be a lot of fun for them. That like I said, as soon as we get a date pinned down, we'll come back on and let everybody know.
Yeah, and you have some markets and some other stuff happening. Do you want to talk about those events?
Oh yeah, well, I've been kind of inundated lately with these
orders. Order.
Yeah, which is so I'm excited. I'm happy anytime I'm busy. It's because who can really? How many businesses can say that after 4 months? It's super exciting. But yeah, there's a lot of upcoming events coming up. One of the big ones I'm super excited to be part of is Lulu Bells is doing the big fall market.
That's October 28th through the 30th?
I believe somewhere around there. But
question mark.
But yeah, I just received my vendor application and all of that this morning, and so I'm getting all of that filled out. But once again, it's like events like that is giving small businesses in town this opportunity to reach such a large population of people who are from here, who are from states and states away, from different countries. And I think they believe there's going to be anywhere from 150,000 to 200,000 visitors to the market. Yeah, over 3 days. So that's super exciting. And of course, I love doing events with the Skellington.
Skellington Curiosity.
Shout out, you guys. I love Kylie and I love her husband. I love how they put these really just they're just fun events together, because we are in the Bible Belt, and it can be a little conservative around here sometimes. But I like what they're bringing to the table. It's sort of exposing you to totally different things.
They always get shouted out on the.
Because they're the bomb. They're so fun. And I've got to meet with Kylie soon, but she's wanting to carry our candles as well in Skellington Curiosity. So, and we couldn't be more excited. I'm very excited, but I just ordered, I'm starting to get my Halloween inventory together and my Christmas stuff. I've got to start getting that together. And I just got the most awesome, I got Freddy Krueger and some Beetlejuice candle molds in. So
I'm excited.
Yeah, you guys check me out at www.interstellarapothecary.com. And or follow me on Instagram at Interstellar Apotheca. But every time I could wake up at 3 a.m. one night and come up with a new product, but guess what? That's the luxury of having your own business. And when that creative mood strikes you, it strikes you.
Yeah.
So, I'm always coming up with stuff. And, like I said, I love working with Kylie and being part of her markets. And it's just so fun, So I'm super excited. And there's so many events coming up. You can find those on my Instagram, Facebook as well.
Yeah.
For sure.
And speaking of the community and other things like that, what is something you guys would like to see more of in Waco? Especially from your two perspectives.
Well, I've been saying this for years. That because we're starting to see a little bit of growth downtown, but I think one day I could envision like Waco having an actual skyline, and I could envision like Waco having like a lot more lofts and people who really live and thrive in downtown. I'm waiting for Waco to have like a full grocery store here in downtown. I think we'd see a lot of growth with even a small like
gas
full
station, convenience store, bodega,
or a little Whole Foods or something would be nice. I think. Especially all the traffic we're getting downtown. Waco is so drastically different just from, when I first started attending Baylor. Like, this is crazy. There was nothing really there wasn't like a lot of touristy type, really destination spots here. And now it's like, I'm excited for like family members to come in town and visit because it's like, oh my God, we got to take you here, here, and here. So yeah, it's so, would we love a Whole Foods kind of downtown? Yeah. And also I said that we definitely need a cheesecake factory.
That's how you know you've made it.
You've made it when you have a Whole Foods and a cheesecake factory. I will say that because we just got the Top Golf. So that makes us feel like Waco's really coming up in the world.
Yeah, that's nice. It's nice. I mean, I think I have to say too, I guess our city council maybe in a way has done like a really good job with trying to entice some of these people, because some of those bigger name people like that is really interesting to even see them being here in this town. I mean, Amazon, look at Amazon coming in right there. That's a lot.
The new
of
SpaceX
stuff. Yes.
Oh my God. Double SpaceX.
Now your house is going to be rumbling.
And it's so funny because, with Waco being 15 miles or 20 miles from McGregor, you don't think that you can hear it. You can,
but wait,
you can, because even
all this complaining, and then we're going to be all on Mars soon, and it'll all be worth it.
Well, we'll see how that goes.
Well, anything else?
Yeah, is there anything else you guys want to share with us today?
I think I'd like to just share how much like I said, I love my candles and my crystals. They're so much fun. But for me, really the lifeblood of sort of our family and what's going on is the hospice. I'm so proud to be a part of it. Everybody, because, I work with them here. I do some behind the scenes type things with the hospice currently. And sometimes you may see me out marketing or something, going to a dinner or an event with the company. But it's just, to me, they're just doing like God's work. They're just doing something so amazing. And Evan didn't really touch on it, but to me, the thing that makes the General Transitions Hospice so special is that it's a family business.
Yeah,
it is like Evan's mom is the co-owner. His dad runs the HR department and emergency preparedness. His aunt is the, office manager. We're literally, his grandmother, she's a character. If you guys ever get to meet her, her name's Arlen Story. Amazing. I just love her. But she's usually out volunteering, doing hospice volunteer work, just because, she's recently lost her husband to, was it Alzheimer's? It was Parkinson's?
Yeah, Parkinson's.
Parkinson's with Lewy bodies. So she's, she got to experience hospice, and she knows firsthand just from, volunteering with us and just her own experience, like how important it is, like how important the actual hospice care is, and how important the bereavement process is. Like once they do, General Transitions Hospice offers a 13-month bereavement program. And to me, that's so, most hospices do offer that.
They have to.
They're legally obligated to, but it's, it's such an important part of the hospice experience. And I will tell you this quick story. A few years ago, I actually lost my mom to colon cancer.
Oh, wow.
And she was 46 years old.
Goodness.
And I think I was 26 at the time.
Wow.
So when you're 26 years old, you are not thinking about hospice. I knew about hospice because I've worked in the medical field. Yes, but I don't know. A typical 26-year-old is not going to know
on the other
anything.
side. On the other side of hospice. Whether it's just so unheard of as far as, like she said, even being the daughter of a person on hospice at that age is just, unlikely.
And at any age, really, but especially younger, it just affects people differently. And so I just, thank God my mother-in-law and my husband own their own hospice, and they were able to actually come to Houston.
Oh, wow.
And his mom, my mother-in-law, took care of my mom.
Oh, wow.
Just because the care she was getting, the hospice that was recommended to her in Houston was inadequate. And you guys, not every hospice is created equal. I will say, when you get that call or you have that talk with your physician about hospice, ask them what your options are.
Yeah.
This is just like everything else. It's a consumer-based market.
Yeah.
Healthcare is a business. So you have options. Like, if your doctor tells you, hey, I want you to choose this hospice, or I want you to choose this home health, or you got to go to this nursing home. No, you don't. You do your research. Find the company, find the group of people who you feel comfortable with, because these people are going to be like in your home. They're going to, I mean, I've seen so many instances of just all of us, everybody involved in the hospice, like we become part of those people's lives, like forever. I mean, there are some patients who they still come over for Christmas and Hanukkah. Yeah. I mean, there's people who like, you know, Evan's mom especially, she's just got the biggest heart ever. And when she loves you, she loves you. Like you're going to be a part of her life, you know, and she takes people in. But yeah, I mean, my main thing is just no matter what age you are, if you're going through hospice, just understand that you have choices. Like find a company or a hospice agency that makes you feel comfortable. Find the company that meshes well with your family, because everybody's different. You know, and I'm not saying General Transitions Hospice may not be the right hospice for you, but
Yes, we are.
a lot of the times I think we can be. I mean, I think we have a lot of love to give, a lot of help to offer.
Well, and it kind of goes back to the idea we talked about earlier with, you know, using a local company. I mean, there are hospices out there that are publicly traded. There's hospices right here in Central Texas that are publicly traded. Won't say names, but do your research. But you can't blame those hospices for not putting the patients first, because they have investors who may have invested their life savings in this company. So there's no way for that company to put the patients first like Gentle Transitions Hospice can. Like my mother and I don't have anyone to answer to. We don't have shareholders. We don't have stakeholders. My mom owns 50% of this company and I own 50% of this company. Yeah. So, you know, we can put patients first without a doubt. There are some companies out there that, you know, can't. Because even if they're not necessarily publicly traded, if it's a company that's taken on a purely capitalistic investorship, you have, you know what I mean? You have to look at it like, that person has invested a bunch of money with me, and I need to make sure that they have a return on that. So even a small investment can make it to where, you know, you can't necessarily put patient care as number one. You have this other thing over here that you got to be worried about.
That's crazy.
And even like this kind of rewinds back to something that my wife brought up. You know, this company means a lot to my mom. We even down to our logo. If you check us out at www.gentle-transitions.com, you'll see our logo that has two people walking across the suspension bridge, the suspension bridge. But those two people are, one is Sherry, my mother-in-law, and then one is my grandpa. Because even though my mom and I had both been in hospice for a long time, those were the two cases that we were on the other side of. Yeah. And one case with my grandpa was a really good case. You know, our family grieved very well, and we had a tremendous amount of help with hospice. And then the other case was not good. It was a horrible hospice case, and I think that our family on my wife's side struggles still. So those two cases are important enough to be on our logo, because they really showed us what, like, the lasting term, you know, how long it can last when you have bad hospice. It's not like, oh, your family members passed away and your hospice case is over and then there's nothing else there. Like what we do for people affects them years and years down the road.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. And those two cases, you know, really showed us that. So that's even everything down to, you know, the colors that we chose and the logo, the name, like it all has a lot of meaning and it all has a lot, you know, to it. So, and then the bridge itself is really the reason we chose to put that in the logo is because we are here to serve Central Texans. You know, we're really not here to serve the whole United States or the whole state of Texas. Like, we're here to do the best hospice we can and serve Central Texas, you know. So my wife made me think about that. I was like, I don't know why I hadn't talked about that, because it's an important part of our company. I mean, even that logo having that much meaning, I think shows the kind of energy and passion that me and my mom have when it comes to this company and just doing hospice in general. I mean,
definitely. And another thing too is, you know, a lot of people think like, oh, they're a small business and, you know, it's a small hospice. But Gentle Transitions Hospice offers everything and more than
Definitely
some of
sometimes
these
and
large
more.
corporate
I mean,
hospices.
Yeah.
So because I think a lot of people, and we've, not going to mention any names, but there have been certain patients who have told us like, oh, I was at the hospital and, my doctor said, well, they're just a small hospice. I don't know if they can offer you everything. And that's just not true. We offer we're governed by Medicare. We're governed by the Department of Health and Human Services. We actually just got a 100% perfect Medicare rating
Oh, wow.
on our last survey.
Very
So
excited about
I don't know if any other hospice in this area can say that. So we did that as a family, as a small company. We have such a great team. All of our nurses, our physicians, our social workers, our chaplains.
Shout out to the General Transitions
Shout
Hospice
out
team.
to our team. They're the best. I mean, it's just everybody gets along so well. Everybody's like family. And it's such a good, when you're happy in your work environment, the nurses are happy, the employees are happy. That translates to the patients.
Yeah, and being a family-owned business, I think leads kind of to that closeness. And I really feel that in order to do the best hospice you can do, you have to have a team that communicates well, that is involved with each other, that is when there's a problem with one of your team members, the other ones jump right in and help them out. And if you don't have that kind of environment, you're not going to end up doing the best hospice. The patients are going to end up, and their families are going to end up suffering if you can't sort of create that kind of environment. And it's been a lot of work. There's been people that have came and gone with our company, and trying to put the team together that we have. It's been a lot of work, but I mean, honestly, I'm just so thankful for the team that we have put together, because they're just amazing.
They're awesome.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
I always tell people when we're talking to them about a position with our company that we're not looking for anyone who's looking for a job. We're looking for people that are into hospice as a career, and that you know what I mean.
We
that
want to
just
make
really
a positive
into it.
impact.
Yeah.
And not just as a paycheck. And
Yeah,
there's other
because
hospices you can go work at them, but you can't work here.
Well, and that's the thing too. It's with hospice, you can't really have a bad day.
Yeah.
And I know we've all had those days where we're like, ugh, you're not sure at 100%. But in hospice, you have to give your 100%. Yeah. You have to come into work every day with an open heart and like just a spirit of healing and love around you. I mean, it's just so important. And like I said, as someone who's experienced hospice, who's dealt, who's got that, news at MD Anderson of like, there's nothing more we can do. I mean, that is like the most intense moment in your life, probably. I mean, there's not a lot of stuff that can top that. So just knowing how intense these moments are, that just tells you how important it is to have a solid, caring team of, really good people who are giving love and getting love and spreading love, you know? So, I mean, it's amazing. So we're very happy and proud of
don't everything. Another thing I've been talking about when I get a chance to talk to the public here lately is to not be afraid to like give us a call with just a question, well in advance of anyone or your family members might need hospice. Try to get some education on what hospice really is, not the myths of hospice, not what you heard from a person. Try to educate yourself well in advance, because I'm telling you, it's hard to try to educate yourself right when you've had that kind of news delivered to you. It's almost too late to get all the education you really need,
Yeah,
and
I mean, you could be in a fog.
Yeah,
after getting news like that. So
I mean, I was one of the worst family members watching my mother-in-law pass away. Like, you would think I had never heard the word hospice. I mean, there was all these signs of everything that was going on right in front of my face, and I just was not. It's hard to even explain it until you've been there. As a hospice professional who's then had to be on the other side for a loved one, you can't explain it until you've been there, because every bit of knowledge I had of hospice just like went out the window. Yeah. I mean, at that point, I was not a hospice professional. I was a family member that didn't know what to do. Yeah. And it was crazy. And so to have been in that situation and not had any help except for from my mom, who was all the way up in Waco that would come down, that was hard. And that's why I say, I mean, I experienced how important it is to have good hospice, and how hard it is when you don't have everything. Yeah. And a lot of people, my mom talks about this a lot, that just, our philosophy is that just because a patient doesn't complain or their family doesn't complain doesn't mean that you did the best job that you could do, And so our philosophy is like to educate as much as possible. Even when we have families that are thinking about coming on hospice, we love to send a nurse out and talk to them and not shove Gentle Transitions Hospice down their throat or talk them into hospice, but to send a nurse out to educate them on, here's the ins and outs of hospice. Here's what hospice really is. So that way, if they don't happen to choose us, if they choose us as a hospice and they want to come on our services, that's awesome. But if they don't, then we feel excited that we've at least empowered them, if you will, to when they do choose a hospice, a different hospice, they know what they should be asking for. They know what they should be receiving.
Yeah,
definitely.
You know.
And one thing I will say too is, I think just overall in society, there's been a lot of discussion about disparities in healthcare based on, socioeconomic factors, race, religion, what, living in the rural part of town versus in the city. And the only thing that can kind of lessen those gaps is education.
Yeah.
So call with questions.
Yeah, and
I mean,
how do people get in touch with you? Give me all of your information.
Well, our telephone number is 254-598-1389, and someone is available 24 hours a day.
Okay, awesome.
On that number. So, and then like I said, the www.gentle-transitions.com. You can look us up on Facebook. But that number, 254-598-1389, somebody will be available to answer your questions 24 hours a day. I mean, and that is the truth. We're a small company so small to where every phone call, even after hours, I actually get an email, and my mom gets an email. So even our on-call nurse, like there's times where I'm like, hey, like in the middle of the night, I'm like, did you get that call? And they're like, yeah, we got it.
3 a.m. just calling, making sure, hey, did you call Mr. So-and-so back? We stay on it.
So and the owners, I mean, there's a great chance that one of the owners of the company is going to be the one to call you back and answer your questions.
That's amazing. Well, I'm so glad. That sounds really great. And I'm so glad that you guys provide those services and are all about educating the community, especially about this stuff that most people, aren't necessarily concerned about until,
exactly.
It's happening to them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When there's a lot of other things they should be dealing with aside from trying to learn, what hospice is. It's not a fun topic, nobody's saying call us with questions and it's going to be a party.
Yeah.
It is a touchy subject. It's not a fun subject, but like I said, it's just a lot easier subject to educate yourself on way before you or your loved one need it. Yeah. It's so much easier to educate yourself in advance of needing it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, thank you so much. And then give me all of your contact information and how we can find you.
Yeah, so you can contact us at www.interstellarapothecary.com. We are on Instagram, Facebook, and you can call. Our number is 254-340-5519. And I'm a one-man show, so I have, and I will be, hopefully.
Don't call her at 3 a.m.
Yeah, try to call me at 3 a.m., people, but.
Not available 24 hours a day.
Send me a text. But yeah, hopefully I will be, hiring some more help soon, which can, I'd love to expand and grow this brand. I love it. I mean, I think it, like I said, it makes me happy. I'm feeling like it's really making others happy. They're really enjoying everything. And then hopefully too, we've been kind of talking about it, potentially opening up a storefront, a brick and mortar soon.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So you guys stay tuned.
You heard it here first.
Yes. So we're very excited, and we're going to keep doing our best to make this community great, and give people reasons to come to Waco.
Yeah.
Give people reasons to talk about how great it is and the people, how great the people are. Everybody's, like I said, has been so inclusive and loving and generous, and there's just even I am part of Women of Waco.
Networking group.
It is a networking group. We meet once a month at the Baylor Club. We also have a happy hour once a month at the Baylor Club. But it's such a dynamic group of women who are just helping each other grow and learn. And, there's so much, I will say, as a small business owner, is you don't know everything. It's impossible to know everything. Just because you're an expert in hospice doesn't mean you're an expert in
candles.
In candles, or it doesn't mean you're an expert in QuickBooks or accounting or marketing, and so it's good. It's just really nice that there's so many dynamic women and just people in general who have just been willing to help us, like help us grow and help us learn. And, you know, we hopefully want to do that for others as well. The more we know, the more we're willing to share with others. So just about our experiences, and, you know, we'll offer what we can offer.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
amazing.
I mean, we're not even afraid. I wouldn't suggest necessarily calling the hospice with just any old entrepreneurial question. We might be available to answer that question, but if you ever run into me on the street, don't be afraid to ask, at all, because like she said, I love seeing other like entrepreneurs, and I love offering any advice and any help that we can, because, you know, I think our country as a whole really needs to, and I think we're doing a good job of it, but I'd love to see some more entrepreneurs, and not so much, you know, Amazon really owns everything in the United States. If we can help that, you know, if we can help that, I think, you know, so each entrepreneur that steps out of the corporate world and starts their own small business, that's one little small chunk that Amazon don't get.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. I appreciate it. You guys have been wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shout out too. Big shout outs. I heard we get a chance to do a shout out.
Shout out.
I think I'm gonna do my shout out to all the local entrepreneurs here in Central Texas. Like that's a big deal, I think.
All right, and who do you want to shout out?
Do I want to shout out? I'll shout out to our 4 lovely dogs at home. We got Stanley Tucci, our pit bull. We have Mary Jane, she's a little Boston Terrier.
We got Mary Jane on the wall.
And we have Lily and Otis, our little teacup chihuahuas. Guys, hope you're not tearing up the house. Stay away from my candle stuff, okay? Love you guys.
All right. Well, again, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys having us.
Thank you for tuning into this week's podcast. This is your host, Debbie, signing off. Now that you know, go. Just go, Waco.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.